anyways, I think it's time for us to switch to the women of the weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
I think we talked enough about the guys.
Yeah.
Let's give the women some attention, especially because it was their last race weekend. It's been a really fun season for F1 Academy. There was a lot at stake this weekend still. Both races were exciting for different reasons.
And we also had a lot of people in their last year
Yes, yeah.
of F1 Academy, because I did look up what the exception is.
Okay, gotcha. So we shared last week the news that they are changing the rules a little bit for F1 Academy going forward, because the general rule is that drivers can only be part of it for 2 years.
Correct.
And then, so what's the exception?
So from the 2027 season onwards, drivers who have participated in 2 seasons, the drivers has to enter in 2026 as their second season, may be granted an exemption to enter for a third season if it is thought to be beneficial for their development.
Okay.
So if they're already showing like strong potential, but that means everyone whose last race was yesterday, they're not coming back.
They're not eligible for
They're not eligible
that.
to ever come back. It's all of the women going into next season.
Going into their second season.
So
that would be, for example, Alba Larsen, Emma Felbermeier,
Joanne
Giconte. Yeah, exactly. So like there's a couple women that are
which
potential.
I think those are
Alicia Palmovsky.
Alicia Palm. I think Alicia Palmovsky and the ones that we just mentioned, there are, first of all, big contenders, I think, also for the championship, the way that things are looking. But I could see, especially for young drivers like Alba Larsen, who's 16, if she doesn't win it, they might be like, you know what, she could learn even more for staying another year. Because obviously, it's also like, well, you don't want to do 5 seasons in essentially in a F4 car. You need to move on and you need to make more room. So I do agree with that, but I think it's cool that they're like, if... I don't know what in general the approval works around that. I'm sure we'll learn as we go.
I would imagine that it's partially like you can see the improvement in terms of times and stuff like that. I think it also maybe will play into account like if they have a bad luck season in terms of like technical issues, but you can still see an upward trajectory. Maybe they will give those people another chance, but we'll see. We'll see what the decisions are for next year. But so going into this weekend, we had the big championship fight between Dorian and Maya Vogt. So the driver in a Mercedes livery versus the driver in the Ferrari livery. And it's been a really exciting season between the two of them. I think we both predicted that the two of them will be part of the championship battle. We thought Chloe Chambers might be in there too.
She was in it for a while.
She was in it for the first half-ish of the season, but then things changed a little bit. She still had some excellent races this year.
She won races.
Yes, she did. But the real championship battle going into this weekend was between Dorian and Maya, because Dorian was leading by 9 points going into the weekend, and we have 2 races per weekend.
And for the first half of the season, Maya Vogt was actually leading the drivers' championship, but then she unfortunately had a race weekend in Canada where she had technical difficulties, so she couldn't race really in 2 races. And even though the first race is a reverse grid and you don't get as many points, this is still vital points that you're missing out.
Yes.
And so that ended up then, Canada was then the shift. So Dorian ended up taking over the lead of the championship. And you have to give it to Dorian. Dorian has scored points in every single F1 Academy race this year.
Yeah.
And she is, above all, someone who is super consistent and someone who also will pick her battles. It's like, well, I could fight you now for P2 or I could take P3 and still score more points.
Yeah.
You know, or minimize the damage.
She's very smart about it.
Because you do have to keep in mind that this is a junior category.
Category?
It is a junior category. Category. So you do also have people. You have a lot of people actually, especially this year, you had in there that raced for the very first time in a single seater car, right? And in a single-seater car, if you've ever raced it like on a sim or something, it is very, very easy to make a mistake. And they're a lot less forgiving than a tin-top car, you know, a lot less forgiving than a sports car. You know, putting out your elbows can be devastating. Getting too fast on the throttle, you spin out.
Yeah.
So it's much easier to make a mistake on in a car like that. So she is someone who consistently stayed out of trouble. So going into race 1,
Yes.
reverse grid. Honestly, first of all, really, really fantastic performance by Chloe and Alicia
Pomowski, because they qualified in 1 and 2. So that ended up, they started in the back, or
8 and 7.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, great, because they're also teammates. So 1 and 2 for their team, because also the manufacturer championship was still up for grabs. But yeah, so it was Vegas, of course, low grip already, but then they were on a wet track. So even less grip. They started with a safety car, so they ended up needing to do a rolling start. That was the intention going into it. They did warm-up laps with the safety car to warm up the tires.
So you do 2 warm-up laps.
Exactly, before you go into the rolling start. Nina Gademan was in the front, followed by Tina Hausmann, then Maya Voeg, Dorian. So those were like the top 4. And of course, you're weaving and moving the car to warm up the tires. You also want to be mindful of like staying on more of the drier part of the track, so you don't lose your grip. And the safety car was going in, and Nina Gademan was preparing to take off.
Because the leader sets the pace.
Exactly. And because you cannot pass until you cross the start finish line. But of course, you want to time it nicely so you already have a lead going over the line.
Exactly.
A little bit. So we have her figuring out when she wants to go. Tina Hausmann behind her is weaving. Maya is weaving. And then all of a sudden, we see Maya crashing into Tina Hausmann.
Yeah, so I think Maya had a little bit of her eyes on Nina. Nina, it looked like she might start taking off, but she didn't. And Tina was still waving, and
waving
Maya,
or weaving?
waving and weaving. She was waving for the crowd. And she was, still warming up her tires. And I think in just like, it is like, I guarantee you, like, Maya will not stop thinking about this moment for a very long time.
Because that literally took away
any chances of her.
I mean, most chances. Because number-wise, she, even with this disqualification or do not finish, she had...
Is this considered did not start?
Or, I don't know. I mean, I think on the race results, it says...
Did not.
Oh, no, did not start. Yeah.
Right.
So there was still numerically or mathematically, there was still a chance.
Yeah.
But based on history, there was a lower chance. Yeah, because then after the race, because Dorian ended up winning the race, she then extended her lead by another 10 points, leading going into the second race by 19 points plus fastest lap, so 20 points. So Tina had a lot to make up. Because if you come in first place in the main race and the second race, you get 25 points. So she would have to be first, and then I think Dorian had to be 7th or
lower. And she would have to get fastest lap.
Correct. So it was like there was low chance. Of course, you don't want to give up, but I mean, you could see it. Maya was sitting on the outside of the track because
she was sitting there for a long time.
Because I think she might have been in a place where she couldn't be picked up immediately or get back.
She probably also didn't want to.
Or I don't know exactly, but it was just so heartbreaking because occasionally they showed her with just her hands, her head in her hands. And it was just so heartbreaking because when you review it, it was like, it was just such a silly, small mistake that just, because she was out and Tina Hausmann were out. Both cars were out of commission immediately after that. We had the safety car out for a little bit longer, which also delayed then the start of the race. They took away like 2 laps, I think, of the race for that safety car, which also a little bit of a bummer. They could have, you had brought it up, that people said they could have red flagged the race, or at least the start, delayed it. Because I think also it's the last race weekend. Yeah. Give the women a chance to race a full race.
And it's also, it is no one, like, yeah, you have qualifying later on, but it's not like you have anything that needs to happen right after. So if you delay the race by like maybe 15 minutes, I think it would have been fine. And it is this thing, it's like, it's the last race weekend. Let's have them race, you know, and let's have them, you know, race if we can, as much under green flag as we can. So why don't we just like red flag it, have everyone come in, Emma Febermeyer, who was struggling the whole weekend with clutch issues, maybe would have been able to do something a little bit to participate. She didn't participate in race 1 at all.
No, she did.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she came out and she ended up coming in 9th.
Oh, she got a point? That's a point, right?
No.
Oh, no?
I don't think so.
Is it not like an F1?
I thought it was till 8th position.
Oh, that's success.
But yeah, so I mean, she did end up coming back in.
But yeah, she qualified in the top 8.
Yeah, she would have started second. Because Nina Gaidman was the first.
But Hausmann, Tina was second.
Yeah, she wouldn't have been second. Emma would have been second, I think.
No.
Here, let me look it up.
Yeah, look at it. But either way, it's just like, it's like, why, sometimes I wish they would make a little bit better decisions in that way.
No, it would have been Nina, Emma, and then Tina.
So they moved Tina up?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me.
Yeah. But that was the qualification.
Oh no, okay, they didn't move her up in the starting position. It was just because it was a
rolling start.
Okay, because I was like, why would you do that? They don't do that.
Yes,
that's an empty spot.
But anyways, it was just so heartbreaking that happened. Also upsetting for Tina Hausmann because it's also her last race weekend.
And she was a casualty of someone else's
mistake.
mistake.
And she's had a lot of. I think she got caught up a couple of times this year, which is just such a bummer.
Yeah.
I do want to give a shout out to Alba Larsen.
Alba Larsen, legend.
She had such an excellent race. At the beginning, she was able to pass. Then also, like, obviously the stuff happened in front of her. She was able to pass Nina Gaidman at one point. So she was leading the race. And Dorian, and then she was leading the race.
She had crazy pace.
I mean, she had an insane pace. She was driving out a couple seconds of a lead. And then she accidentally touched a wall, which broke something in her car, which then ended up kind of pushing her against another wall, then across the
So I think
track.
This was so she touched a wall, and then I think it was the last left-hander going onto the straight, and then she completely lost the car.
Yeah.
And then by sheer dumb luck, she didn't hit the right side.
Yeah.
Not dumb luck, or by sheer luck, right? She didn't hit the right side, spun across onto the left side, and then we have Nina Gaidman racing by, Dorian racing by, and Dorian...
I mean, it was close.
Oh, Dorian, like...
By the skin of her teeth.
Literally, just a little bit off. Like, I would say half a second she would have hit.
Yeah.
It would have been double DNF, and then it would have...
Then it would have been interesting.
Then it would have been
then
interesting.
It would have been really interesting.
Not that I would want that for Dorian. Like, you did everything right, you know, so you deserve to go in with that advantage into that. But it is just so incredibly heartbreaking for Maya because it is her second season. She's not eligible for the exemption. I don't know, honestly, if she would be eligible either way, because you're like, oh, well, she's a title contender. Why wouldn't she? But it's like, well, if you're title contender, how much more can you really learn?
Yes.
You know, maybe you need to move on. And I am excited. I want to follow her to see where else she's going to be going.
Yeah.
And
I hope she has the funds or the sponsors to continue racing.
Absolutely.
But going back, like Alba Larsen is so exciting to watch. I'm really excited to see her next season.
16-year-old, right?
Exactly.
First time in a single-seater car.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So it was really fun. Then, so she ended up DNFing. We also had Chloe Chambers getting into a kerfuffle with her teammate again, with Alicia Palmovsky, which is so painful to see them both crash together because both of them have such high potential.
Yeah.
And of course, for Chloe, it was in a way a home race, being an American
Race,
driver. And then Alicia Palmovsky, it's her first season, but she's been showing so much potential.
So good. I can't wait for her to see her next year.
So excited to see her next season.
I would be very, very surprised if she's not a title contender.
Yeah, she has been caught up in a couple incidences this year, so I hope she was able to clean up.
I hope in the off season she has enough time to get onto the sim, get into maybe other F4 cars to just like practice, because like you don't have to commit to a whole season. And I know that the F4 UAE championship should be starting pretty soon because they do start in December, I think. So if she has the funding, hopefully she can do a couple of races.
Yeah. So then the first race, Dorian ended up winning. Nina Gaidman came in second. And then Alicia Palmovsky technically came in third, but she ended up being disqualified for technical things. So that was the top 3 for this. So going into, of course, race 2, we knew that Dorian had an excellent lead, but it was not all set in stone.
It was
yet.
looking good for her, but the important thing is really, as long as Maya doesn't win and you don't DNF.
Yeah. Well, Maya can win, but you have to not DNF or stay right close to her in terms of points.
Yeah, not 7 or lower.
And it's also like it's not always your fault getting caught up in the sauce, you know?
Yeah.
So that's always just the risk. Like, how much do you risk in terms of getting a win, getting onto the podium? Do you play it safe? Just make sure you get the points. So that was kind of, I was curious how she would handle it going into the last race.
And you also have to keep in mind, like, so the F1 guys are already talking about how difficult it is to race in Vegas. And then, you're in an F4 car, which is slower, but it's like
smaller.
And smaller, yeah. But it is a car that is has way less downforce, so a lot less grip, and it's a street track, a lot less forgiving. So it is, it's, and once again, a lot of people with not that much experience, so it can be very difficult. It's a difficult race, you know. And that's why we did have a bunch of incidents, especially in race 1. We had 3 safeties.
Because we had the Maya Verk one originally, then we had one for Ella Lloyd, and then we had the one for, we had that one for Alba Larsen, and then we had the one for Ella Lloyd and Chambers. No, because Ella Lloyd, we didn't have a safety car. I think we just had a yellow flag. And then we had the one for Chloe Chambers. But then, so going into the last race, things were still up to fight for. And it was another good race. Chloe Chambers
a regular start?
Exactly. We had a regular start. Chloe Chambers had an excellent start. And she was leading the pack from the front.
And she was like, I'm not interested in whatever you guys are doing.
Yes. And then I'm sure her and Alicia had it talking to by the team.
100%.
Also, like, this is the last race. Let's keep it clean.
Because they were also battling while Prema got the Constructors' Championship at the end of race 1 due to getting the 1-2. They were still fighting. I don't remember.
Is it the MP Motorsports and I think it's Rodin?
Yeah.
So it was them two still fighting it out for number 2 in the
Drivers' Championship.
In the Constructors' Championship. So that was still up to fight. So there was lots still to fight for in the last race. And we had some really great on-track action, some really close battles. I mean, we had Maya Verk trying to make her way through the pack. She was behind Dorian at one point, and then she made the pass. She was also battling with Alba Larsen. She was making her way through the front. And that's when I started getting really nervous for Dorian, because there was lots of action happening around her.
There was also lots of close battling between her and Alba Larsen.
Yes.
And then once again, like, Alba Larsen is, like, I would say, like, you can definitely do this type of close racing with someone like Maya Verk, but with Alba Larsen, there is a bigger risk to it, because she is in her first year. She's 16 years old. She has not that much racing experience compared to, like, the other two. And I think this is also what she said in the post-race interview. Because Dorian ended up finishing in 5th place.
Yes.
And I think if this would have been, like, race weekend 2, she would have definitely taken the race to them, and she could have probably finished on the podium. But she was like, I have to do the smart thing. I just have to consolidate. And she did the right thing. Why risk it? Why risk the championship?
So we ended up having Chloe Chambers winning at home
Gorgeous
again,
performance.
which is amazing. Very happy for her. We had Alicia Palmovsky come in 2nd, and then Maya Verk take the last step of the podium. But since Dorian came in 5th, she made enough points to take home the overall driver championship of the 2025 F1 Academy. She was already in fight for it last season, but this year she took it. I mean, because she was just very consistent. She made the points. And of course, there was a little bit of luck involved, but that's just racing, really, you know? So very happy for her. I mean, I think we like her. I mean, I also like Maya. I would have been excited for Maya too. I think I just have a little bit more of a connection with Dorian just through the Iron Dames too. And very, very happy for her. I mean, she was so excited. She was jumping on everybody. I mean, she's like a tiny lady. But yeah, she was jumping. And then, of course, it was nice. Susie Wolf, of course, was there. And Toto came over. We had George Russell, Kimmy, It was nice to see them come and support her. And so very happy for her. I also saw a couple of videos from the Iron Dames congratulating her because she's, of course, part of their team. And she thanked everybody because, of course, it takes a village in motorsport to do it. Because, like, yes, of course, you can do so much in a car, but you have to have the car, you have to have the team, you have to have the support system and whatnot. So I'm very excited for her.
Absolutely.
And I'm super excited to continue watching her. I'm hoping that she'll be more involved again with the Iron Dames, so we see her maybe in some of the other races, but I know she'll be in a GB3 next season.
If she takes it.
For sure.
She will be in it. Well, I know this year for sure her focus was only single-seater.
Yeah.
Which I think is fair because last year she almost participated in Le Mans, but she ended up breaking a couple ribs before that.
Yeah.
This year, knowing it's her last year and this is the year that she has to go for the championship, so I think it's the right decision.
Yeah.
Hopefully, even though she will be, if she does make the move to GB3, which she has the contract for 1 year, hopefully she would still be able to dabble within some GT3 racing in an Iron Dames quote unquote exclusive car.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it was a very exciting F1's Academy season.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been we've had some really great races. We had exciting battles on the track. I'm just really excited to see the people who get to return next year come back and see what they can do, because I see
we have a lot of potential.
Yeah, we have so much potential on the track, so I'm really excited to see what happens with it. Because for the people who came back this year, some of them really flourished, others didn't do quite as well, or as well as I was hoping for them to do. So I'm really excited about it. I also just love that we're going to have another team on the track next year, I think, too.
There's the Lego team.
The Lego team.
And then in 2027, we're also going to be getting Cadillac.
Yes.
Because Lego just signed a contract with F1 or F1 Academy specifically. So that's really, really exciting.
Yes.
And then there's already been confirmations for a bunch of people that will be returning.
Yes.
And then also really exciting. So Ella Lloyd will be returning in the McLaren livery car because she's part of their
Driver Academy.
And then they also recently signed Ella Häkkinen to their Driver Academy, and Ella Häkkinen being the daughter of Mika Häkkinen. I saw this guy posting something online who was pointing out that people were like, oh, well, she only got it because of her dad. And it was like, 90% of those motherfuckers in F1 are there because of their dad or someone had a connection.
Literally.
Like, this is a sport that lives off of nepotism, whether you want to or not.
Nepotism or connections or money. That's
or
literally
all of the above.
Yes.
And it's just like Jos Verstappen was a F1 driver, like there's, I think, 2 people on the grid right now that didn't have anyone.
Yeah, I think it's Lewis and Ocon.
Yeah.
I think those 2 are pretty much the 2 that I can think of right now.
Yeah,
so it's like be quiet.
Get a grip.
Yes.
And God forbid a woman makes it on her own merit, right? I do wanted to say, I think, 2 more things. I did see the post-race radio of Maya Vig.
Oh no.
And it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The race engineer was like, listen, you should be very proud of yourself and, of everything that you did, because she did race a fantastic season. And she thanked them, but you can hear that she was definitely crying because she knows that it went this way because of race 1, Well,
but also it's race 1, which was her mistake.
Yeah.
But then the technical issues that she had earlier this year are not up to her. And it's just, it makes me so sad for her. It breaks my heart because because also, especially often for women or the women in racing, there's even less opportunities,
Absolutely.
And then, of course, it's also a situation in terms of money. I'm not sure what her financial status is.
I don't know either.
If she can afford to go racing next season.
Well, like the most successful woman in racing, Michelle Mouton, her dad financed her racing, right?
Yeah.
For the first 2 years, he was like, "I'll give you money for the first 2 years," and then she was good enough, obviously, to do the rest. But it's like you need to have someone who has that dispensable money, And then, so it is very, very difficult, And yeah, it is very heartbreaking because she had a technical difficulty, but she will not blame it on that. She will blame it on race one.
Of course, that's what she will always think about, that was her mistake that took it away. And then it's just, I hope she'll get over it eventually, and then that we will see her racing again.
I'm sure we'll see her race somewhere else. I hope she can find a good contract somewhere to maybe, because like, I mean, Bianca Bustamante made it into GB3 on her own merit, right?
I mean, granted, she was also really big in social media and she got a lot of money
because of her own merit.
Because she was working at it, and that's how she was able to finance.
And I think it's fair to say that I would say, especially in terms of F1 Academy, Maya definitely outraced Bianca by a lot. So hopefully someone sees that potential and be like, hey, let's give you a seat, right?
I know. I hope so. I wish her all the best.
All the best to her.
I'm looking forward to following her career. Also, of course, Dorian's, also Chloe Chambers. Really excited to see what those women who won't be returning next season, what they will do outside of F1 Academy.
I'm also excited. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Leah Block a lot more in rally again.
Yes.
I watched their Atlassian Williams podcast. They do like 25-minute episodes, and it was Alex, Leah, and Carlos. And they were talking about, and she said what she loved about rally. And they both actually had rally experience, and they really loved it. Carlos said racing in the Dakar car of his dad, the Audi, was like was the best experience of his life. And she said what she loves about it is that it's so different because you can make your own path. It's not like, okay, you have to break 5 meters later. And she was like, I don't even know what that means. You know? And it's like, it is a huge learning curve to come from something so different. And this also goes into, again, like this whole nepotism thing. Like Carlos was talking about how he got into racing is because one of his dad's friend bought him and his friends a bunch of go-karts. Like, I didn't know anyone who would buy me a go-kart growing up, you know? This is like what we're talking about. Like, this is a different level of wealth, you know? And a different, like, status all over. And it's like, most likely you have to come from a place like this. Unless, because, I get that Lewis's dad had, like, 2 or 3 jobs, right? But think about all the people who have 2 to 3 jobs to support their kid's career who don't make it. And it is like, you know, it's hard.
Or some people work 2 or 3 jobs just to afford regular life.
You
know, not even an expensive hobby for their kids. You know, it's
because
just
karting alone is already so goddamn expensive.
Exactly. No, people work several jobs just to pay the bills, to live in a home and have food on the table. It's like. Like the difference of life is just crazy.
But I'm excited. it would be awesome to see Leah and other things. I mean, of course, if she wants to maybe take on some sports car racing or more single seater. But I would be not surprised at all if we see her more in rally racing because she did it already this year, won something. So you know, she built like that.
And I do want to watch more rally next year, hopefully. That's the goal. So we'll see. But I'm very excited. This season of F1 Academy was excellent.
Absolutely.
I'm very excited for next season. For now, we have the final races of F1 to look forward to.
Back to back.
Yes, exactly.
Triple header.
Two more race weekends, and then that season is also over. So we will see. But I think we'll let you guys know on Thursday what you can watch this upcoming weekend outside of Formula One.
Probably not a lot.
Yeah, probably not a lot.
Spoiler alert.
Very true. But still something to look forward to, nonetheless. But have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.